That day also.
I remember walking in the doctor's office while feeling my baby kicking inside of me. I remember leaving that office knowing that my body was preparing itself to expel this baby. And I knew that my baby was dying in me.
Having an abortion is often much more traumatic than we expect. We think we are the only ones struggling because no one talks about the feelings we go through afterwards. Now women are realizing the abortions they had years ago are the source of physical and emotional problems they are dealing with today. Listen to how our abortions have affected us.
They did not tell me having an abortion would increase the chances of having a miscarriage and the inability to be pregnant again.
I caught a very bad infection that went into my kidney.
And for months, I was awakened in the night by screams, piercing in the night. They were mine.
I had this one recurrent dream of this baby falling and I'm trying to reach it, and I'd wake up screaming because it was always just out of my reach.
Nobody told me that I would walk into this self-hatred that would drive me toward death. Nobody told me that I would use drugs to numb the pain, alcohol.
Emotionally, I suffered from deep depressions, breakups with boyfriends, guilt, shame, anger, fear, and a sense of enduring worthlessness.
I emerged from that healing institution with an invisible wound. A wound that went so deep that it would affect me for the rest of my life.
I started having nightmares and depression, and I had to seek help, and I realized I needed help for this healing. And I got it, and God's been good to me, and this ministry's been good for me.
As the Silent No More awareness campaign began to grow, men asked if they could share the regret they feel for their involvement in aborting their children.
I realized how small of a man I was, because if I had gone with her that day, I probably would have realized what was happening. Maybe I would have realized what was happening. Maybe I would have saw how upset, how broken she was, and taken her by the hand and said, come on, let's get out of this place. And I didn't even do that.
I didn't defend the life of my own daughter based on misinformation, selfishness, fear, shame. I let her die to an abortionist knife. And I died the same day.
I wonder how my son or daughter would look like today if I would have stand up and be a man and fight for the life of my child.
You see, one of the biggest things that causes so much pain and that causes the suffering to continue for so long is the sense of isolation, the sense of being cut off from everyone else, being alone. And there came one day when there was an ad in a paper, which was put out by very many good people, just like you, that talked about how many of us had suffered. And right away there was that connection. And right away there was the process of healing that began. And there is hope, and there is healing for men and for women.
Forgiveness is the key to healing after abortion. Going through an abortion recovery program enables those suffering to also address many of the other emotions surrounding the experience.
And that's when my life really changed, because the post-abortion counseling brings up this emotions that have been festering inside of you for all these years, the unforgiveness, anger, grief, all these things that you've been burying down. And so I was able to, through the counseling, give my children names and give them real personhood. Then I was finally able to grieve the loss from the abortion.
That night, a supernatural encounter with the living God derailed my attempt to take my own life. And it started a journey toward healing, reconciliation, and restoration that continues to this day.
You can't destroy the baby without destroying the mother. And you can't love and heal the baby without loving and healing the mother. That's what we want all Christians to do. We are calling in a particular way on pastors to proclaim that the doors of the church are open. We need pastors to proclaim that we who oppose abortion do not oppose those who have abortions, but rather we embrace them with the healing, mercy, and forgiveness of Christ.
In 1994, the Alan Guttmacher Institute reported that 43% of women in the United States under the age of 45 have had at least one abortion. So chances are you know someone who has been involved in an abortion. They need to know about the wonderful work being done through abortion recovery programs. There are now hundreds of people trained to offer help and healing from abortion. The campaign website provides links to all of these programs. Women who have experienced forgiveness and healing become empowered to break the silence, proclaiming the truth about abortion. The campaign has designed 2 billboards, one that features Jennifer O'Neill and a second one that captures many faces who regret their abortions. These billboards are being used by groups who see the need to support life and reach out to those hurting. The campaign also produced 3 television and radio commercials.
When I found out I was pregnant, I thought I would lose my job.
My boyfriend told me to choose between him and the baby.
I was already struggling to care for one child, so I had an abortion.
I had trouble conceiving again.
I tried to commit suicide. I started to have nightmares.
You see, abortion didn't solve our problems.
It just created different ones.
That's why we are silent no more.
We found help and healing, and you can too. Call or go online today.
The spots are used by many groups who want to help raise awareness. The Silent No More awareness campaign is not an organization. It is simply a campaign to raise awareness. It is sponsored by Priests for Life and Noel, and does not directly seek to address the legal or political perspective of abortion, as many who claim to represent women do. While the other side sees the right to abortion about winning and losing, the campaign sees the right to abortion as wrong for women's health and well-being. Pregnant women deserve better than abortion. We need for society, especially churches, to offer real choices and support, so abortion will be unnecessary and ultimately unthinkable. Please join us in raising awareness about the adverse effects of abortion by sharing the personal perspectives heard here. You could prevent another person from suffering the consequences of abortion and save a life.
We are silent no more.